Hello, good morning, and welcome, my dear fellow shining beings from around the world and all times and spaces and all dimensions. It is I, Sylvia, coming to you live from beautiful Eastbourne by the Sea. And I'm excited about today's shows and the topics we're going to be looking at today: modern meditations. I can sum it up in one sentence, and that one sentence, that might well change somebody's life. Who knows? I hope that shall be so. A wonderful good morning to dear Carol Ann and my good dear Marianne from Germany. Good morning, my dear super shining beings on this beautiful day. Yes, I'm excited. I had a star event this morning. If you're on this Star Matrix Forever group, then you will have seen it. And Ilka, good morning, my love. Hello. Yeah. So I'm in a special space in my mind, in my energy system, in any which way you want to look at it. Now, I was wondering all week what we were going to be doing here on today's Sunday Live, and my dear energy mind, and I do listen to my dear energy mind a lot, and we wouldn't be here without it. Good morning, Gazzy. Hello. Kept suggesting meditation, modern meditations. And I was like, but that's so out of field. I mean, we're doing Star Matrix 7. That starts next week. We're doing the Community Energist. Why meditation? But the signs, they kept on coming. So in the end, I crumbled. I crumbled last night. And I said, okay, let's do modern meditations. It's a wonderful, wonderful idea. It's a good thing to be talking about and ties into so many different things. Good morning, Janine. Hello there. Welcome. Welcome to the Energy Show. Yes, I need some rousing intro music. I will have to go and write some rousing intro music for the Energy Show at some point. Yes, I'd like to do that. And send me some good vibes for rousing energy music that get us started on a Sunday morning. Yeah, so right. Well, we have so many wonderful things we can talk about as far as modern meditation goes. But first things first, when I use the word meditation, I do not think about mindfulness, and I don't think about sitting in the lotus position, and I don't think about chanting Om, and I certainly do not think about the strange pretzel contortion yogi things. And in many ways, I don't even think about the old version of meditation where people would go into their rooms and they would light some incense and put on some new age music and then sit themselves in the lotus position in the middle of their carpets and meditate. I think that's a waste of good meditation. Meditation is something else. It's something bigger. It is much, much more interesting than that. Not saying that you can't have fantastic experiences in meditation. Of course, I have had many fantastic experiences in meditation, but it's just taking it way too small. Because I have discovered, are you ready for the big secret here, the big reveal? I have discovered that at the heart of meditation is one human ability that if you learn that, it will change your life. It absolutely will change your life. Just one thing. And that is the ability to think about something you want to think about. Let that sentence just go in and drift in and through and out. Meditation is actually the ability to think about something that you have decided to think about. And the way I often try to explain this is that our minds, our beautiful minds, our beautiful, beautiful minds, they're like a horse. And you kind of sit on it. And sometimes it just grazes and you're just sort of sitting there looking at the countryside. but then a rabbit jumps up and it gets spooked. And all of a sudden, you're clinging on for dear life and you're totally out of control. And there's hedges coming towards you and branches from trees, and it all gets terribly terrifying. And at some point in a human being's life, there has to come a time when they realize that this is their horse that they're on, and that the idea here is that we should be working together, and that there should be somebody who decides where we're going, what we're going to do, and to literally pick up the reins and start riding the horse rather than just being bounced and carried along wherever that horse is, whatever it wants to be doing, whether it's having a flirtatious affair with another horse or a fight with another horse, or just in blind panic runs away from wolves or stumbles down into a ravine. At some point we have to pick up the reins and say, okay, horsey, now we're going to go where I want you to go, and we're going to do what I want us to do. So I hope that makes a measure of sense. To me, meditation is the ability to think about that which you want to think about. And that's both as simple and as complex as that. Because if I decide that I want to think about a deep form of meditation, for example, Supermind or Project Sanctuary, then I can enter into these mind spaces that aren't here and now. I can go to what some people call your happy place. Project Sanctuary has infinite happy places, custom designed for yourself and for your needs of the moment. And so why don't we just make it real right away? And I just ask you that question. Imagine we're going on a little holiday here in mind and spirit, because our energy body responds profoundly and directly to where our mind is going. I could send us to some kind of Twitter madness or to some kind of horror or terror with a few chosen words. And if you want examples of that, just open up any kind of news feed that deals with the news of the day, and you will see how that works. We're going from one horror to the next and feel worse and worse and worse. But we can also do the opposite of that. So I'm going to ask you now to go on a little journey that your own energy mind will give you today. And we're going to use the classic game from Supermind and Project Sanctuary. I'm simply going to ask a question. What would be the perfect place in time and space for you to be right now? The absolute perfect day. Heaven, one might say, the perfect place in time and space. What would be the time of day in that perfect place in time and space? And it helps if you answer me out loud, or at least sort of under your breath if there are other people in the room and you don't want to seem to be strange. So what's the time of day? Early morning, mid-morning, high noon, afternoon, mellow evening, night, deepest, darkest night, the time just before dawn. What would be in that perfect place in time and space? What is the time of day? And once you've got a hold of that, we can move on to the next question. What is the time of year? What is the season here on this perfect day? What is the season? Is it spring? Is it summer? Is it autumn? Is it winter? Now we have already two factors established, the time of day and the time of year. And now I'm going to ask, what is the weather? What's the weather today? As you answer that question, and perhaps describe a little bit what this weather feels like, where you can sense it. Is there wind in your hair, perhaps, or sunlight on your skin, or perhaps snowflakes on your tongue? Could be anything. Whatever your dear energy mind gives you is perfect. So now we have the weather. Now we can ask, and what is the land here? What is the environment? What are you standing on? What can you see around you? Are there hills, valleys, mountains, water, that sort of thing? I don't want to make too many suggestions because they just get in the way. So now here we are. We are in a habitat, a perfect place in time and space. And now the more attention we pay to that habitat, that perfect place in time and space, the more real and real it becomes. And with a little bit of practice, we can get to a point where we are literally stepping out of our physical body and stepping into that habitat, into that environment. And we are fully manifest in that environment. And now when we breathe deeply, we're breathing in that air. We're feeling that sunshine. We are feeling that weather. We are understanding that. And our energy body reacts to it. And we can deepen this by acting inside the habitat. We can, if we were on a seashore, for example, we could pick up a little stone and hold it and squeeze it in our hands. And that is sort of the high level of meditation. Because once you can do that, once you can step into such a habitat and really be there, then you can do also everything else that you've heard the great mystics talk about. You can fly to the stars. You can become as big as a mountain and bigger, and actually poke your head through the clouds as you're rising up and looking up into the stratosphere and seeing the little planet beneath. And you can just rise up and fly among the stars. You can shift to other dimensions. You can visit Indira's web. All those things that you've heard the great mystics talk about become natural and easy. And that would be the high end of meditation. But it is a simple process, and it simply starts with thinking about something that we want to think about. So I would absolutely love for you to share your perfect place in time and space in the comments. And I mean that for our live viewers and also for the people who are watching the replay. I would absolutely love you to just write a short description of your perfect place in time and space in the comments. Because when we actually do that, write it down, that makes it hard, that connects it with actual reality, and it makes it much easier to go to that same habitat again if you would like. And there's 1,000 reasons for doing that. Like if you can't sleep at night, if you are bored in an airport lounge or on an airplane or traveling or something like that, or you're in a doctor's waiting room and there's 4 hours to spend in there before you get seen, that's the time to hang around in your happy place rather than spending too much time in physical reality and worrying. It's a beautiful thing. And you don't have to spend 4 hours there. You can just tune into that habitat for a moment. And this is something I just absolutely love. And this is why I always say you don't have to sit in the lotus position. You don't have to make a massive drama out of meditation. Meditation can be instant, and a lifesaver. Absolutely. I'm just going to see some. I'm just going to go, before we go on to the next thing, which is kind of important, the instant meditations. I'm going to just read out a few of the habitats that we've had. Marianne says, sparkling, fresh, sunny early morning in springtime at the Baltic Sea. Oh, I know. Oh, I know what that feels like. That's very specific. Listening to the waves and the seagulls picking up an amber stone and holding it to the sunlight. I love searching for amber at the Baltic Sea too. That's just. I've also written a story about. Oh, you completely triggered me here into all sorts of wonderful memories. Thank you so much. And this is why I really encourage you to share these habitats. They are unique energy cocktails. And even though this specific one was custom made just for Marianne, we too can get benefits from this. I certainly just did. Wow. Thank you, Marianne. Carol. Late spring, gentle breeze, sunshine, walking across fields and seeing the newly opening blossoms on the trees, gentle flowing grasses, blue sky, and gentle bird song. That's just beautiful. Oh, oh. I do hope you guys get a sense of just how energy resonant these habitats are, the perfect places in time and space. And they're unique for that person, but we too can get wonderful energy nourishment from sharing them. This is why I encourage so much that people should share them. Beautiful, thank you. Ilka. Beautiful soft morning by a magical shore with magical stones, and I'm guessing that's golden nuggets. Well, that's interesting. Golden nuggets on the seashore. Hmm. Ah, yes, this is a seashore I would love to visit too. Thank you very much for that, Ilka. That was beautiful. Yeah. So really, it's just those simple questions, and you can ask them yourself. You can talk to yourself and say, if I needed a perfect place in time and space, I wonder what the weather would be. What would the weather be? And if you can't get started, just ask a few sort of questions. Would it be stormy and cold? No, no. Are you insane? Totally not. No, of course not. No, it's warm and pleasant and warm sand for my bare toes. It's really easy. It really is. It's natural. It's a natural thing that the human mind can and will do. And I have absolutely convinced myself, through reality, through trying this with people over what, 50 years now? It's such a cool thing. Yeah, so once you've got such a habitat, use it. Explore it. Where you landed in that world is just X marks the spot. That's where you landed. You can walk along the seashore, you can fly along the seashore and see what else there is. What else could there be around the corner? What's behind those hills? What is on the other side of the forest? What else can I find here? What treasures can I discover? This is a living landscape. It's not like an old temple made of marble that sits there for thousands of years and it doesn't evolve. This is a natural living landscape that you are entering into with these basic classic game Project Sanctuary meditations. And it's fun, do an archaeological dig, see what treasures you might discover. That was prompted by Ilka's golden nuggets. Okay, so that was really, really nice. Thank you so much for those amongst you who've put their habitat in here. This is a gift to all of us, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, and now the other thing, the instant meditations. And my star event with that was I used to have two children that had to be taken and collected from schools. And so, like everybody else, I had to stick myself with my car into the giant traffic jams that ensued around these times. And this one was picking up a child from a school quite a long way away at lunchtime in the middle of August. It was absolutely boiling. It was boiling. And my car, English car, doesn't have air conditioning or didn't have air conditioning at the time. And I was late and I was stuck in this traffic jam and knew that my child would be upset and crying by now. And I got really, really stressed out. My young aspect got really, really stressed out. And it was just unbearable, the whole thing. The stress, the heat, the sweating, the not moving forward. And then the car started to overheat. And my aspect really was about to just have a total nervous breakdown, a -7, starting to scream insanely. But then there came this thought to me, what isn't this? What isn't this? And the minute I thought that, I was instantly transported to a sunlit beach with green, transparent water through which you could see the sand underneath and these really old, big, round rocks of ages on the beach. And that water was so inviting. I called it the waiting water because it was just waiting for me to get inside that water. And this was happening super quick in my mind as the aspect sitting there in the car, freaking, about to freak out. This took 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I just let myself splash into the water. And then I was back in the car and I was like, oh, my God. Chilled out, calm. I wasn't sweating anymore. I was still covered in sweat, but I wasn't actually sweating anymore. And I was completely blown away by the power of simply just getting out of your body for 1/10 of a second and jumping into this waiting water to just remove my stress, remove my physical distress. I was completely blown away by that. And so I sat happily in the queue until the traffic started to move and picked up my child with a hug. And please forgive me, the traffic was terrible. And I've always remembered that. And I would like to invite you to think of a simple way of using that. To simply ask that once in a while, if you're getting distraught or distressed, to simply connect with a perfect place in time and space that is the perfect antidote to the place you're in, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. It just needs to be remembered to be done. When you're feeling yourself getting distressed, take control of your mind and just ask that key question there. What isn't this? Oh man, what isn't this like? Or give me the perfect place in time and space that will solve this for me. What's the time of day? And get that sense of, oh my God, yeah, this isn't like just being free in a beautiful grassland with wind blowing through my hair and an endless horizon. And even just this short moment of connecting with that just changes the reality profoundly the moment you come back. And it takes seconds. It only takes seconds. It's awesome. And that is also a form of meditation, but it happens in real life and it's quick and it's incredibly useful. There are, there are more uses than I can shake a stick at. But it starts with thinking about something you want to think about. Yeah, so then I will then say this also then runs with star matrix. So something happens, we are programmed to instantly go to some related trauma with that. Instantly programmed to go to some trauma that relates to this. And we don't even realize it. That all these years of living in the Western world have absolutely brainwashed us into this trauma thing. that, you just think of something and you remember the trauma related to it. And there we need to take control of the horse that is our beautiful mind, and turn it in the opposite direction. Literally, just stop and turn it in the opposite direction. Use your legs, everything to turn it in the opposite direction. And think of a positive memory relating to this. I was talking to a business person the other day, and they were telling me of a business that they had started, all with high hopes and lots of support from people, but then it failed miserably. And so they don't really like to talk about it. They don't like to think about it. This was a terrible time in my life when I was between my ages of 42 and 45. I never want to think about that time ever again. And I'm really star matrix enabled now. So I said to this person, okay, so this business failure was terrible. Oh, fair enough. But I don't want you to think about the failure. I want you to tell me of a moment of excitement, joy, or happiness that you experienced during that long stretch where that project of this business was running. And they immediately came back with, oh my God, I remember a time when I was talking with a couple of other people. We're sitting in this cafe. It had red leather seats. We were sitting there and we're just bouncing ideas off each other. And we were laughing and laughing. It was so much fun. It was so joyful. Oh my God, how could I have forgotten this? And the thing is, they hadn't forgotten this. They had just locked off this whole area because of the failure, and so they never went there to look for positive learnings, things that they learned that might be useful now. And my God, there were many things. When I started investigating this and asking this person, well, what did you learn from this business? And when I could get them off the track of all the things you shouldn't be doing, and they started talking about what they learned from the good moments. Oh, that was wonderful. That was so wonderful. You know, I've learned that if you get the right people together, magic happens. I've learned that when you're excited, things can go much better than you thought they could. I learned that, a good idea that can brighten everybody's life. I learned that I can actually stay up for 18 hours and not feel tired if I am inspired enough. That was one that really kicked in with me, because I can get very tired and I have this idea that I need lots of sleep. But perhaps I only need lots of sleep when I'm not so excited. But see, this is also a form of my definition of meditation, directing your mind to something that go with make your mind go where you want it to go. You can obsess about the failure, or you can go back and see what was good about the project, what you've learned, what could be useful for your next project. Really important learnings for your next project. And that is also meditation, as, as far as I'm concerned. I think modern meditation is really important and it's a wonderful thing. It really is an extension of the act of paying attention, learning to pay attention. You often hear it said, oh, you need to focus your mind, but nobody ever explains how the hell you focus a mind. How do you do that? What it means is to pay attention, pay close attention. And there are so many applications for this idea of modern energy meditations. For example, I was talking with Eric Robbins about chronic pain, and how people who have chronic pain have built these massive neurological pathways that make it easier and easier to access the pain, to make the pain stronger and stronger and stronger, simply because we're accessing the same roads over and over again in the brain, in the energy system. And it makes the whole thing into a devil's spiral, into an evil spiral. How can we break this spiral? And I said, well, one of the ways we could do that is we could start teaching people to focus attention on another part of your body. And that is easily done. It's really easily done if you give a counter stimulus. And the inside of your hands are incredibly, incredibly sensitive. Just have a go at that and paint a little tiny, very lightweight, little tiny spiral into the palm of your hand. And just pay attention to how that feels. Really pay attention to that. Now, when I'm not around giving instructions, I would like you to try this and just see how far you can get before the rest of the world around you drops away, and that sensation becomes the only thing left in the universe. Really getting into that sensation. And then we could do it with the other hand. Because we have two brains and two sides to the body, and it's always good to let the other one have a go. So really focus on that. And the sensations direct of the fingertip in the palm of your hand. But also how you can feel sensations spreading up your arms and into your neck, Really focus on that. Let it give you an experience. Paying attention. That's what it is. Paying attention. But first we have to tell the brain or the mind or the horse that we ride what it is that we want to pay attention to. That is literally taking up the reins and directing it towards that which we want to think about. Thinking about something we want to think about. What do I want to think about? Next question. Where should I go? Well, I think that a general instruction that we should be thinking about something that is useful, practical, uplifting, helpful, exciting, sexy, stimulating, whatever you need in the moment. I want to think about something positive. What's positive? Let me think. Oh, friendship and friends and people who love what I do and people who, play with me and art. There's lots of things. Which one of those do I want to think about right now? To take a bit more control over the horses in our minds, the wild horses in our minds. And here's the thing, look, we're not turning the wild horses of our minds into cart horses here. Quite the opposite. Once you have your horse, you also have the control whether you actually want to ride it at all or whether you just want to let it go in the field for a while. Let it run around crazy and roll in the dirt. But then we can call the horse, hey, come back. Let's go for a ride, mate. And it does that. It loves us. It knows us. It understands us. And we can work together with it. And I just like that metaphor. I do. I like that metaphor. That we are dealing with a natural creature here when we're dealing with the human mind. A natural being that loves attention, that loves certainty, that gets stressed, that we can help to be not so stressed. And then beautiful things happen. So yeah, that's modern meditations. Thinking about something you want to think about. What do you reckon? Is this useful? Is this good? Do you like it? I mean, I absolutely love it. And I feel we need to do a lot in order to, get these old-fashioned ideas out of people's minds what meditation is and why they never ever would want to learn meditation. And yes, we could call it something else instead of modern energy meditations, but no, I believe that the process of meditation is a wonderful thing, and it is much, much bigger, much wider, much more practical, and a beautiful way to learn more about how our minds work and to get more control over our minds. And I think that's useful, practical, and something that I'm very happy that I have discovered. Yes. Yeah, so here's one other thing that I was going to say. The mobile phones have caused meditation, the old new age meditations, the guided meditations, to fall out of favor, or that people just don't do them anymore. And of course you can't, if your phone is binging every 20 sec, bing, 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 you can't do that. And for some reason, in spite of we are having all so much more time than we had before the pandemic, people seem to have no time at all, which is a stress thing, I'm guessing. Less stressed you are, the smoother the flow of time becomes. So I'm going to suggest and recommend that we bring meditations back, guided meditations back. Half an hour of a person that you like speaking to you calmly about beautiful things. This is really, really good for us. There's so much free floating anxiety and so many voices of doom and gloom hollering all around us, that to go back and spend a half an hour with a guided meditation of somebody that you personally love and that you feel safe with, that's really important, is going to be just super helpful to not get all these huge problems that all this stress and free floating anxiety, does for us. I love the voices in the night. I love guided meditations so that there's somebody talking some common sense to me, and it doesn't have to be me myself. And that's why I wanted to close with that. We can do all these wonderful things with our minds, going into sanctuary, into our happy place, instant meditations, thinking about star memories. We can do all those things beautifully from +3 upward. The lower we get on the energy chart, the harder it becomes. In other words, very stressed people cannot meditate. They can't. It's structurally impossible. It's like somebody with two broken legs trying to do figure skating. It's not going to happen. And to, I don't know, attack them and moan and groan and say, well, you should be meditating and then you wouldn't be so stressed, is totally unfair, because stressed people cannot meditate. And that is where we have guided meditations. Now, I'm generally quite happy, but there are many, many times when I get stressed over all sorts of things. I've been in hospital and in airplanes, all sorts of places where I get super stressed. And I wouldn't dream of trying to struggle through by my lonesome self. I get a guided meditation out because there's somebody who's going to be calmly talking to me. They're not going to get tired of this. I can play it as many times as I like, and they'll never not be calm. And there's somebody who can then guide me out of that's why it's a guided meditation, guide me out of my stress into a better state of being, so I can be, oh. And I am super grateful to my guided meditation teachers, my hypnosis teachers, my NLP hypnosis teachers. I have a ton of tapes and cassettes and MP3s of meditations, guided meditations, where somebody else says, okay, relax, it's all right, you're fine, you're doing great. which is the point of it. So when we're very stressed, go to a guided meditation. Don't be a fool. Don't try and drag yourself out of a swamp by your own hair. That doesn't make any sense. And when there are very stressed people, don't tell them to start meditating, because that's not fair. They can't. By all means, you guide them in a meditation, or you tell them to find guided meditations that they can do. And when they're less stressed, then their own mind can also then go and do the more advanced meditations. I hope that makes sense and rights and injustice. because it really annoys me when they tell these very stressed people to start meditating, and over 90% of them fail. And I hate that. I really do. When they should just give them a nice, calming, guided meditation, and then 100% of them would not, at least not fail, and perhaps 80% would get real benefits from that. You always get some who don't for whatever reason. So let's have a look what Elsie says. Yes, Sylvia, this is wonderful, very practical. I often think of sitting in a gentle flow stream midday, mid-warm summer warm breeze, safe, warm, comfortable, and peaceful. Yes, beautiful. I often, in the summer when I do work at the computer, I often think that I've got my feet in a river of sparkling, cool water. And that always gives me a giggle and a smile. So easy to influence the energy body, isn't it? It's not at all hard. And I really think we should be so much more loving and gentle with our energy bodies and not subject them to, streams of negativity and screams of negativity like you get on certain platforms and certain news channels. It should be more protective of our energy bodies and make sure that they have better experiences. And with modern meditation in all its form, we can really achieve that. And that's a really good thing. So yeah, final tip to find guided meditations. I don't know that we even have anybody here who doesn't have a cupboard full of them. Go and have a look at them. Find the ones that you like and play them again. Do them again from this new state. Interact fully with them. You don't just have to lie there like a limp noodle. You can really go with it and, do some energy work with them. Whole new experience. If you've never done guided meditations before, the core part to that is to find a person that you like. A man or a woman, depends on your preferences for the voices, and find somebody you like and have a look at their stuff and see if you trust them. And if you connect with that person, then that is a perfect person for you to do a guided meditation with. And you can just let go and let them talk you through the night, and it doesn't matter how stressed you are, they can really help you out. And this is so much better than tossing and turning and lying in bed and crying and tearing your hair out and doing all these other things that wear the energy body down and can get into really dangerous and destructive cycles. So yeah, we want to be looking after our beautiful energy bodies and also looking after our beautiful minds. They've had so much, they've been shouted at so much and they've been denigrated so much, and they've been given so many things that just weren't suitable. It's like putting a horrible saddle on a beautiful horse, or a horrible thing in their mouth that doesn't fit. We need to find ways of being nice to our minds and using patterns and techniques that work with our natural intelligence, with our natural physical bodies, with our natural energy system, rather than constantly chafing against them. And that's one of the reasons I'm here on this planet, to make that so. Okay, so thank you so much for having been here with me this morning. If you haven't put your perfect place in the comments, go to the actual main video after the live show is finished and put your perfect place in time and space in there as well, for people to find perhaps much further down the road, couple of years from now. You never know, somebody might watch this video and look through the comments under the video and go, oh, that's such a beautiful place, and something good will happen for them because of it. Okay, my lovelies, my beautiful shining beings, that was our topic of the day. I have to invite everyone who hasn't done Star Matrix yet. Star Matrix 7, the lucky number 7, starts on the 2nd of February 2022. You have to wait another 200 years before you get that many twos in a date. I just love that. If you're already Star Matrix Master, we have a fabulous river raid. Please contact Zoe directly. And I do hope you'll join us, because this is the last Star Matrix Masters course before the brand new Star Matrix Pro starts in April. And I think it's going to be a fantastic journey. Okay. Thank you very much. Love you lots. And I will see you around and afresh anew for next week's energy show, Sunday Live with Sylvia. All the best. Have a fantastic week. And bye for now.